Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate has a lot of history to live up to. Part of a series that's been with us for over 25 years, it's both a follow-up to the 2010 reboot and the first entry on the 3DS. After a decade of excellent games on Nintendo handhelds, the developer has changed from Castlevania's traditional Japanese home of Konami to the Spanish Mercury Steam. New continuity, new console, new team. Are these a blessing or a curse?
I am Simon Belmont. I have come to avenge the death of my parents. I've come to destroy you.
26 years after the events of the first Lords of Shadow, we join Simon Belmont, inspired by Castlevania's original vampire hunting protagonist, as he enters Dracula's castle to avenge the supposed death of his father. Guided by a mysterious apparition, he'll soon discover the truth about himself and Dracula.
Know this, your father died by my hand. Will you suffer the same fate? You cannot kill me. You will die in vain, just as your father did.
We'll see about that now, won't we?
What's not been pulled from the past are the controls. Ever since Super Castlevania 4 brought us whipping in 8 directions, anything less than a side-scrolling Castlevania adventure feels like a step backwards. Mirror of Fate is more of a half-step. There's no direct whip control, but there is a deep combo system, much like the one found in the first Lords of Shadow. It's just horizontal and vertical strikes to begin with, but soon you'll become a whip-tastic whirlwind with vast arcs, rising strikes and mid-air juggles at the heart of your arsenal. Fights can become pretty epic, although their flow is often clumsy. There are magical assistants you can summon for defense or offense, but these are all brushed onto the D-pad and out of the range of spontaneous use.
Damn it! I'm tired of your silence! Show him to me!
Combat is certainly smoother than the traversal you'll get up to. Not the worst in the series, but not really fun either. You'll spend lots of time just running down empty corridors or hopping up ledges. Your ability to grapple, discovered early on, ought to be the game changer, but it's awkward and frustrating instead. The big problem with Mirror's controls, outside of combat, is the way you become stuck on things. Where it would make sense to hold R to hold something and let go to release, you just press R and become glued to the grapple point or block or whatever you're doing until you press R again. This makes swinging from point to point tedious, and blocks behave like clingy companion cubes.
Look at what you've become. You don't remember me, do you?
It means the open-world style exploration of the game is much less enjoyable than it should be. What doesn't help is that there really isn't much to find. Enemies rarely amaze or delight, and you're always aware of where you should and shouldn't be going next. Linearity wouldn't be so bad if there was any urgency, but it's only after a second act twist that the plot becomes interesting and your character picks up more immediate motivation. At least it all looks and sounds fantastic. With an original score by the composer of the main series, Mirror of Fate manages to be moody, dark and atmospheric, much more than any previous handheld installment. The 2.5D graphics and 3D effect are very eye-pleasing, and the gothic design is lifted right out of the original Lords of Shadow 2.
Who dares invade my domain?
It's a shame that all this polish doesn't give Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate, the substance its waffly name suggests. It's a fun way to bridge the time gap between the two main Lords of Shadow games and a solid 3DS adventure, but it fails to live up to the immortal legacy of Castlevania's best outings.